Okay, I think everything's sorted. I always feel like I'm missing something. Well, I haven't clicked go live yet, that's a problem. Okay. So I should be live on Twitch now. I'll ping my server. Boop. And I'll send to what's it, Bob, but not ping. Boop. Okay, hey, that was quick. Hey, Alex. So it's weird. I feel as though I'm missing something, but I don't think I'm missing anything. I think we're good. You came before the ping. That's impressive. Crispy Silicon says good luck, Mick. Thank you. Okay, one thing I'm missing is I need to open up the HardwareBot page for this setup. The other forward garbage, indeed, folks. Right, well, let's fire up the phase change so that can cool down. I'm very pleased that that fired up properly. That's good. That's a good start. Especially if you remember how the last one went. Evening, Glenn. Right, so I'm going to open up the HardwareBot page for this stage if I can find it, and I'll see if my target is still what it is and if it's still something I can actually do. We have more oh no. Okay, yeah, I'm not. Ooh, am I? Okay, no, wait. I think my target is still... Have I got my target set as 26k? Is that right? Yeah. I don't think my target has changed. Good. Okay, so I can still do this maybe, hopefully. Right. I'll need to have my stream manager open so that I can do title updates if and when I have a reason to do a title update. That's open now. People are responding, so I assume they can hear me. Yeah, and that's coming through. Right. Well, quick bit of housekeeping while the phase is pulling down. So, I've got the stream in low. Sorry, it's early. I will get better at keeping my train of thought later in the stream. I've got the stream in low latency mode. White Shark asks, is the SS as quiet as it sounds? I mean, I am wearing a lapel mic, but tell you what, I'll unclip you and I'll pop you nearby. So to answer your question, yes. It's really not that noisy at all. It's a I think it's a Little Devil unit. It's really nice. There's only one fan and it's like buried deep in it just here. And you know, the compressor's obviously buried inside the unit as well. So yeah, it's really quiet. What was I saying? Yeah, I've got the stream in low latency mode now. So the chat interaction should be a little bit easier. Previously it was, I think there was about 10 seconds latency, which is a bit much really. Insulation wise, I've had lots of time to prepare because I scheduled the stream to start quite late. So I have a shitload of kitchen roll and a giant zip tie. Like this is a really big zip tie, looped around it, sort of trying to hold it all in place. So what I'm hoping with that is I want to run the fan just in case it makes a difference to the memory. But I don't want like a massive block of ice where my socket used to be, which is what I had last time. And so the second part of that, my mic's catching on the camera, there we are. The second part of that, now that the setup has been seen, I have a bit of cardboard. And if I can work that down in between and around all of the bits and pieces. Yep. So that should deflect all of the airflow from the fan towards the memory. And my hope is that will mean that there's no airflow actually to the cold bit. So hopefully I won't get much or any ice. So that'd be nice. I think that's about everything. It looks like we're pretty cold right now. So yeah, let's fire her up. System plus camera top right, there we are. Okay, good, that's working as well. That's good news. I'm glad that that's working. Okay, let's go to smart tweak mode quickly. It's a bit cursed, but that just shows you our actual current settings that they have actually booted. Right, let's get ourselves into the non-cursed mode now, and I'll show you what I've dialed in. So voltage wise, I mean, this is very, very, you know, it's like low voltages on CPU and everything because this was from Air pre-testing. Memory wise, 1.95 volts. In terms of the actual memory settings, so I've got 10, 13, 14 dialed in. TRAS is kind of interesting. TRAS can go lower, but the performance drops off if I put it any lower, so I've left that at 22. I'm surprised WTP couldn't go any lower. RRD and 4, I was having no end of trouble off screen. Sorry, I was having no end of trouble on stream getting these to go to 416 or getting them below ridiculously loose settings, but the moment I'm off stream it's fine, so okay, whatever. So in terms of RTLs, the only ones I've dialed in are these, and they're not even really dialed in. It's just like, this is what actually even boots. Auto boots, but if I set +0, that doesn't boot. I can't really explain that. Other than it's a gigabyte board. In terms of the pirate timings, I mean, the main one that stuck out to me is that TWRRD can go weirdly low on the different rank and different dim. I mean, obviously different dim I don't think is used, but can go weirdly... Wait, different rank wouldn't be used, but different dim is used? I'm not sure. It might be both. Anyway, that goes weirdly low. These ones that are set to 1, I'm pretty sure only actually come into play when the memory is going in and out of power down mode, which is disabled anyway. And setting them all to 1 didn't make a difference, so I've just left them at 1 because whatever, it doesn't make a difference to stability either. But yeah, so in terms of room for tuning, I might be able to actually do a bit more with the RTLs and the IOLs than I have. The problem is it's not very consistent. So I might dial something in and then I'll turn the system off for a bit, I'll come back to it, and it will behave differently, and that's no good. So the aim with this stream, oh, and RFC 90 didn't boot and 100 didn't have any performance gain, so that's why I've left that on auto. Yeah, the aim for this stream is I'm just going to clock up, basically. Alex says, I'm back. CSGO updates are too massive to watch Twitch and download at the same time. By the way, the Crosshair 8 Hero that worked doesn't work anymore. You had a Crosshair 8 Hero? To be honest, I must have missed that bit. Well, I'm sorry to hear that it's not working. Flaky boards are the worst, they really are. Like, it's fine if the board just doesn't work. You know where you stand. It's when it sometimes works, because it means you have to mess around with it. That's the really annoying thing. Alright, so I'm going to take these settings into the operating system, and I'm going to do one run like that. Firstly, to make sure that going Subzero on the CPU hasn't caused any problems. And secondly, the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure it's sort of scoring the way it should. And I want to show you how it's scoring, and this is at really low clocks. Let me pull up CPU-Z. So I'm actually at fixed 3.5 on the core, and the same on the uncore. The iGPU is at stock, but the memory's up at 2933 and well tuned. So I'll do a quick run at those settings, and the score should be in the range of 20,600, give or take. And then once we've done that, I'll actually clock up and I'll get a real score. And hopefully that should be fairly straightforward, bish bash bosh. If I end up just getting a strong score really early on, then what I'll do for the rest of the 2 hours is I'll get some other benchmarks installed and I'll run those. Alex says the Gigabyte board RAM and 8120. Oh, right, the Gigabyte board RAM and 8120 are arriving tomorrow or Friday. Sweet. So you can poke around with that to alleviate the pain of the Crosshair 8 not being by your side. Well, there's a silver lining. Yeah, it should be fun. AM3 Plus is a fun platform, and that RAM should actually be able to clock up all right. So yeah, fingers crossed that'll be all right. I think I am entirely out of wry observations about the benchmark at this point, given how much I ran it last stream. So just while that's running, oh, Dave says one of the caps off the back of your E2210 fell off. I know. That was the really kind of rare one, wasn't it? That hadn't been benched much, or had it been benched at all? I can't remember. I feel like I looked it up and it had been benched, but barely. Okay, yeah, has been benched, but barely. Ah, that's really unfortunate, that. I mean, the good news is, as far as I'm aware, they don't actually matter that much. Like 4 SuperPi scores, yeah, that's next to none. Well, hopefully it will still work well. I've heard of people, you know, they just bin through the CPUs regardless of the caps. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Zust got one too, and it's really bad. Okay. That'll be interesting then. So, you were saying, I think, is it really, really early or something? Like a really early example of the die? So, I guess it makes sense that if it's ridiculously early, it might be a bit crap, or very variable, maybe. Forks says if it wasn't ripped off, probably no short. Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, people have binned through CPUs where some of them have caps missing, and you know, the ones with caps missing have not clocked noticeably worse in a consistent way, as far as I'm aware. So hopefully should be all right. So yes. Well, in other news, so operating system wise, if anybody's stuck around to the end of the last stream, I mean, firstly, what are you doing? It was awful. But I mean, well done, because fuck me, I didn't want to stick around, but I had no choice. So at the end of the last stream, the operating system corrupted itself. Sean says, "Hey now, lol." Yeah, sorry. Maybe a bit hard on the self-deprecation there. At the end of the last stream, the operating system got corrupted. Now, I do have an image of it, which I took with something called ActiveAt. I don't know, it's like I've got it on a trial, but I did use that to clone the drive as well, and I know that's worked because this is currently running on the cloned drive. So I have a second drive that has the exact same setup, the exact operating system, it's all the same, and that's actually, this is actually the original drive here, and the system is running off the clone. So if it does get corrupted, then that is absolutely no problem whatsoever. You know, literally like 10 seconds of downtime as I swap drives, rather than it being the end of the stream. So that's hopefully a big improvement. And we've finished. Now, second piece of information. Despite the fact that I've reinstalled the operating system and I'm using a much better drive, this still takes forever. This is not, yeah. The score will come eventually. I'm not going to open CPU-Zs because I know it's not going to be a PB, because it's only going to be 20,600 or so, and my PB is higher than that. Dave said it's the same die revision as E7200, but somehow clocks a gigahertz lower. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Forks says imaging drives is such quality of life improvement. Yes, yeah, massively. So I've done it previously on Linux just using DD, but DD copies every single byte that's there exactly as it is. And what that means is if you've got like 5 gig used on like a 64 gig drive, DD copies all 64 gigs. So it's just copying like 60 gig of absolutely nothing. So it takes forever. Whereas this imaging tool, it was like a few minutes to image it in each direction. I mean, that's amazing. Sean says that it's not drive related. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be. I don't know why it takes so long. It seems to be worse now than it was when I started. Maybe it's some kind of system info thing. Maybe it is something to do with stability, but yeah. Of course, on stream it would score 50 points lower, wouldn't it? Oh well. Still, 2562, so that's about what I was expecting. Macrium, alright. What's up, guys? Hey, EmptyHead73, don't think I've seen you around before. Hello. So, this system is at that temperature, which is minus 40 degrees right now, and I am about to overclock this fucking 4790K. It's at 3.5 gigahertz now because I was on a really crappy air cooler when I was dialing the system in. Mercurium Reflect, free tool, we use it at G-School booth. That's cool. Oh, Lee Cooft, hey man! Oh, good to see you here. I suppose I don't need to explain what a single stage is to you then. Right. Well, let's jump to 5 gigahertz. I think it was 1.4 I was using for that before. That should be straightforward. Just learning, might want to run these 4600s too. Yeah, fair enough. So this is, the board has developed an annoying habit where after you save out of the BIOS, it just sticks in the BIOS. It's still showing AB and you have to reset it. So that's lovely. The biggest thing that I've found is it's about memory latency, it's about subtimings. I don't think GDI is necessarily the optimal configuration, to be completely honest with you. But it's the configuration I'm running because I wanted to see what this kind of config can do. But yeah, it very much is about memory latency. I'm running 2933, I would be able to get 3250 out of this memory, but because I had to loosen timings to do that, it's just not worth it. I think if you had D-Die, Samsung D, that could actually do 2933 CL9, which I gather is possible, that would be really strong, or PSC I think would be really strong. That's maybe that's something that I could do later on in the stream, once I've got a score, is I could just drop in some PSC and see how that does. That would be interesting. Because I have a sneaking suspicion, I think I might have a PSC profile saved as well, but I think the profile I have saved is only 2400. But I have a sneaking suspicion it would actually do really well. Yeah, G-Die has really weak TRP, and TRP does seem to matter to some extent. I think if I was on a board that was any good at dealing with RTLs, then they would matter as well, but I'm not, so yeah. Also, this board has like a memory enhancement setting in BIOS. I can't remember if I actually got it set. I'll have to check that when I'm next in BIOS. But what I found in pre-testing is the memory enhancement has the options enhanced performance, normal, and enhanced stability. And I found that enhanced performance lost me about 100 points, and enhanced stability gained me about 100 points. So make of that what you will. Yeah, that was classic Gigabyte, really. I was really surprised. So last stream, one of the things I tried was cache clock, and I thought that would make a big difference, because my understanding is that the cache is also used by the integrated graphics, but it did absolutely nothing. So I don't know why. Maybe it's maybe cache is only used by the integrated graphics on Skylake, or I don't know. That was surprising. CPU core does pretty well, so it was 2560 or so was the previous score. That was at 3.5 gigahertz. This is at 5. I'm expecting... Ooh, it's going to be over 21k, I think. And I haven't touched iGPU clock. Speaking of typical Gigabyte BIOS features, so another fun little feature is it can set the iGPU clock, which is good, you know, thank goodness for that, right? But the way that it sets it is kind of arbitrary from what I remember. It doesn't necessarily... It seems to treat what you enter more as a suggestion. So that's been interesting. So last stream, I went to the 125 base clock strap because I wanted to try and run faster mem. And I got a huge score improvement from that. And I was thinking, okay, is this like some hidden clock that's affected by base clock? So then eventually I realised, no, it's just that the iGPU clock had gone up. So I'd set it manually to a lower iGPU clock to account for the base clock increase, and the board had just ignored that and clocked it up anyway, and that's why I got a massive score improvement. So yeah, that was interesting. iGPU clock is a really, really big deal for this stuff. I would say more so than CPU core, if anything. I'm not 100% sure how much voltage it can take. Yasarian has said that he treats it like vCore, but if there's one person that you probably don't want to be getting that advice from, it's probably Yoz. So I'm a little bit more worried. I'm a little bit... Even on single stage, I'm not that comfortable above 1.35 with it, but We'll see how we go. I can't actually remember what I ran last stream. I think it was probably... I think it was something like 8... Oh, wait, is that okay? Yeah, okay, I think that was just... I didn't see those artifacts on the actual monitor. I think that was just the benchmark ending and the capture card derping slightly. I think we're good. Because that was the end of the sequence, and 3Dmark05 is not 3Dmark03. It doesn't bug out if it crashes. So I think we're good. We're fine. Startled me though. Alright, so that's going to take a little while to give us the score. I don't know why. It just does. While that's going, I'm just going to fire up CPU-Z. It's not going to be a score worth saving, because my PB, I think, is like 22k. If you tick the CPU benchmarks and press escape when it starts, you get your score way faster. Okay. That's interesting. Thank you. I'll give that a go next run. So there's our CPU. Motherboard, I mean, it's a SOC Force. We're not on the XOC BIOS. Our SPD, it's GDI. And there's our current memory primaries. If I recall correctly, haven't done 3D for years. I mean, it sounds like that makes sense. I'll definitely give that a go, yeah. Because, I'll be honest, this weight is annoying, to tell you the truth. There we are. Oh, okay, I predicted 21k, and it's a little bit below that. But, alright, we're about there. We're about there. So, I don't think that's anywhere near a PB. What did I get last stream? Okay, yeah, PB is 23k. Good. You know, I might have misremembered some things, and I might have gone in a bit too cocky here. I think I had it in my head that 23k was my target, rather than being my PB. So we'll see how that goes. The memory tuning that I did off stream gave me about 1,000 points. Okay. So yeah, we've got our memory enhancement on enhanced stability there. And I mean, the key thing is, I still need to fiddle with RTLs maybe, but the key thing is dialing all of these pirate timings in, which has actually made a difference. And this being a gigabyte BIOS, the number that you have there on the left is just a random number, so what it's actually running could be something completely different. So you can see, for example, for TRDRD just here, I've actually had set it higher than the BIOS was implying it was running. So that's fun. Alright, so might as well clock up the cache a little bit, I suppose. You know what, I'll just set it, I'll set the cache to auto, because that's 4 gigahertz, isn't it? I should probably manually set a voltage for it. Let's try 1 volt manual cache voltage, because that might save a little bit of heat, which is going to be helpful. I do have Cryonaut both sides of the IHS, rather than MX5, but yeah. Alright, so this time we're going to keep the CPU tests checked, but we're going to hit escape to quit out of them before they start. And we'll see how that goes. That'd be really interesting if that works. That'd be cool. From what I remember, the cache doesn't really do anything. I mean, maybe with it that low, it might have made a difference. Right, no, don't uncheck them. Leave them checked. And let's go. League says if it works, I'd get a free beer. I already owe you a beer. So if it works, that means I owe you 2. Yeah. If we ever actually get to meet up, it's... yeah. Things have been interesting lately. It's funny, I was sort of thinking about doing dry ice at some point. Maybe even getting dry ice in for this. Nope. That's not an option. I actually got an email preemptively from the dry ice supplier saying, yeah, unless it's essential, we're not supplying you. Which is fair enough. There is currently... natural gas prices have gone up, and that means that fertiliser plants have shut down, because fertiliser plants process natural gas into fertiliser and also carbon dioxide, apparently. And the carbon dioxide was the carbon dioxide that then gets used for things like dry ice and also in the food industry. So yeah, we have a carbon dioxide shortage because of natural gas prices, so that's fun. Alex says, just tell the company that your CO2 usage is very important. I mean, I could, but I would be lying. If I didn't have a phase change, then it would be an emergency. But I have a phase change, so I think we're okay. I can manage. Alright. I think we're looking good so far. It's only 4 gigahertz cache, but I'm interested to see if 1 volt works, because hopefully that lets me keep the heat low, which will be nice. I do also have a power monitor hooked up. I haven't... maybe there would have been a way to organise it so that you could see it, but I haven't. Oh, I haven't done that so far. So we are currently using 95 watts from the wall for the entire. Not for this. This is going to be using more, but for the rest of the system, which is, I mean, just the CPU really. Currently using 95 watts at 5 gigahertz. So that tells you something about cold scaling for power usage. Actually, you know what? While this is running, as there's not much to do other than let it run, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my multimeter. So I think I have 1.4 volts set for the CPU core. I'm interested what it's actually really running, because I remember hearing something about Haswell like running higher voltage than you've set when it's cold. So is there going to be a way I can make that visible for the stream? Yeah, that's visible. Good. Yeah, memory's at 2933, CL10. Alright. Good old solder bumps. So, current V-core is 1.415 volts. V-ring, that's set to 1 volt. What is it actually? So V-ring is 1.014 volts. And, oh, here we go. So it's loading a CPU test now. Hit escape. Benchmark aborted. Okay. And it's okay. I see. So it's given me a score right away here, and if I hit options, hey, there's my score. There we go. Good call, League. Yep. Yep, mate. That's 2 beers that I owe you now, isn't it? Right here, then. Well, yeah, good call. And that shows you how little scaling there is from cache as well, because that went from 3.5 to 4, and it was, I don't think that was even 100 points. It was like 20 points or something. Wait, can you see? You can't see the score properly. There. Yeah. So it's like 20 points-ish. And that shows you just how little cache matters for this, which I was really surprised by. Drop resolution to 800 by 600. Yeah, I've heard that works for some, I think like Ice Storm, it's really big for. I don't really know Intel iGPU tweaks. Hello, BMAT2077. Alright. So Dave was asking about the memory, so there you can see it's at 2933, and I'll run down the timings again. TRAS, that's a sweet spot, so it can go lower, it just scores worse when it's lower. Don't think about the RTLs and the IOLs, it's cursed, don't worry about it. I might as well have left them on auto, to be honest. And all of these timings that are set to 1, they're to do with power down mode, which is disabled anyway. Right. So, I think we're at the point of clocking up the integrated graphics. Now, if I remember correctly, I was doing something like 1800 at 1.3 or 1.35 volts. It was something like that. So I'm going to try 1800 at 1.3 and we'll see how we go. Alex says, I think I might have a CPU bottleneck. My CPU is at 10% usage. I mean, if it's being used, that is to some extent a bottleneck. Where am I? So I guess this is my first complaint about this capture card. I'm using an AverMedia Live Gamer Duo. And I guess when the signal's lost, it sometimes just displays these weird random artifacts, which is a little bit disconcerting. Dave says, Mick, don't feel embarrassed about your RTLs in front of me. I purposely avoid platforms with exposed RTLs. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing with RTLs. I thought, oh, this is going to be... Leave the CPU tests. I thought this is going to be great, because, like, I can just set, like, RTLs to, like, -1 and see if that works. And then it turns out that actually just setting an RTL or an IOL to 0 does not necessarily work, because this is a gigabyte motherboard. So they're plus or minus some amount relative to something, but what it's relative to is completely arbitrary. I suppose it might be a good idea to get ASRock timing configurator on this and actually be able to see what the RTLs are doing. That might be worthwhile at some point. Alright, so I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be this simple, but I have just clocked up to 1800 on the iGPU at 1.3, and touch wood, it seems to be alright. It seems to be behaving itself. I do keep hitting my mic cable. Maybe at some point I should actually sort myself out with a wireless mic. That might be advisable. Because right now I have a sort of meter-long cable that's basically going from my chest to the camera, which is not necessarily an optimal configuration. But there you are. But yeah, so Alex was saying a 3900X and an R9 380 isn't the best combo ever. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Sort of a GPU shortage mood, isn't it, really? But yeah, Sean says someone explained RTLs to Buildzoid, and apparently it was a life changer. Yeah, it's... Hey, thanks for the follow, Beer Matt. Sorry, just noticed that was like 5 minutes ago. Yes, I don't fully understand what an IOL is. I have a vague idea that an RTL is like. Hey, thank you for the follow, League. Much appreciated. I'm 8 followers away now from actually. Well, I'm 8 followers and 1 stream after this one away from being able to apply for Twitch affiliate. So for now, I care about followers. Just for the next 8 follows, and then we're good. So my understanding is that RTL, I mean, it's round trip latency, obviously, but I think it's something like it's the total number of cycles taken for some operation. I'm not sure what operation. So, like, if you have lower CAS latency, that gives you a lower RTL as well, I think. But yeah, I'll be completely honest and say I don't really fully understand them yet. Not that I necessarily fully understand what all of the other timings do, but RTLs are, like, weird. It's especially weird, like, they seem to have a much narrower range in which they're happy compared to other timings. It's not like you can just, like, set them super loose or set them to something arbitrary. So, like, the Z97 board that I do all of my binning on, which is a Z97i+, that does have exposed RTLs, but it's literally, like, it doesn't tell you what they are now. It doesn't give you plus or minus. It's just, well, you can key in a number if you want, if you know what number to key in, which is not massively helpful. So I've not touched them on that board yet. But yeah, I do have an awful feeling they might actually make a legit difference to the score. Oh, that's our CPU test. Escape. Benchmark aborted. Hey, and that, fuck me, 26427. Alright, that's a score. What was the target again? Okay, yeah, we've just obliterated that target. GG. Thank you for watching, everyone. That's not the stream. I will keep going, but okay. Alright then. Let's start opening CPU Z and GPU Z. Just like that. Ah, I can't believe that. So, all of this messing with the timings and getting the latency down. I still can't quite believe this. I'm going to put CPU and motherboard behind the camera. Yeah, all this messing around with timings to get the latency down, that's a little bit big. Drag that over a bit more. There we go. I wasn't seeing it make that much difference, but that's because I was at default iGPU clocks. So I guess, you know, what does 1,000 megahertz, 1,000 points. Sorry, I'm trying to arrange my screenshot while talking about something else. Where's my other... Give me more GPU Z. There. Oh, please tell me I remembered to install this. That would be such a pain if I didn't. Come on. Yes! Let's open up an SPD tab as well. Makes the 7-hour stream worth it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 1,000 points at low clocks, I guess, is more than 1,000 at high clocks, because that's more than I was expecting. Right. So, where's my system only? Okay, and I'm still on the mic. So, I'm just showing the entire screen now, just so that League can yell at me if I'm doing something horribly wrong here with the screenshot. 264, what was it? 27. Save. So, first spot, bro. Gold. Yes! Thank you. Ah, I'm pleased with that. Yeah, and there's my screenshot. I've taken an actual screenshot. I'm not just using the stream, but... Whew. Right, well, title update time, I think. 26427. I... 26427. Yes! Right, well, obviously I can't just stop there. Oh, and I can get the camera back now. I think the room's a little bit cooler today. I think that might be helping. So, yeah, the temptation is just to step up base clock. Would 101 be pushing it? Let's try 101. Oh, I can't quite believe that. That's gone really well. Sweet. And I'm not even an hour in. I've been going for like 3/4 of an hour. Well, this has been a bit of a better paced stream. Alright, so we're at 101 base clock now, so I'm going to give that a go. I'm also not massively happy with the arrangement of that screenshot, so I'm going to drag 3Dmark down to the bottom left corner. Because ideally I don't want like bits of windows over bits of other windows. I know it probably doesn't matter. Also, League mentioned trying low resolution, so I will give that a go as well once I've run out of base clock, I suppose. Remember not to disable the CPU tests. Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to make any difference for this, because it changes the resolution to actually run anyway. I mean, it might... Maybe it would have some effect in terms of, like, does it have to keep the desktop in a frame buffer? I don't know. Or maybe it would... Yeah, I'm not sure. Might be worth a try. There's no harm in trying. And to be honest, I kind of just want to see... I think the iGPU, like Intel's control panel thing for the graphics, from what I remember, that crashed immediately after I installed the GPU drivers. So I don't know if that's actually running or not, and I don't know if it can run, but I guess I could go poke that as well. There's always reruns also, because I think there is a bit of, maybe even 100 points of variability to this bench. So, yeah. Well, I mean, this isn't my first gold for 4790K iGPU, to be fair. But I'm still slightly taken aback. Like, oh, hello. Okay, that crashed. Oh, what's it doing? Is that okay? Come on. It's not crashed in BIOS, has it? Just being okay, it's just having a bit of trouble with the... It was showing up on the capture card, but it was having trouble with the monitor. Maybe that's still the capture card's fault, I don't know. Why am I looking into memory timings? I need base clock 100.5. Let's try that. League says, we saw some weird Greek tricks with these legacy 3Ds in the days, even overclocking the monitor to boost it. Oh no. Yeah, yeah, some of the legacy 3D marks, they score better at higher refresh rates, don't they? I'd forgotten about that. Wasn't it like a really big thing with Aquamark as well, or am I misremembering? Yeah, that's the type of tweak that just depresses me, frankly. Not only because this is a shitty monitor. Forks asks, what's the bench where using 3 mice helps? Oh no. It's gonna be like... I want to say transparent windows in one of the 3D marks, and like possibly 05, maybe 04. PC Mark, yeah, sorry, PC Mark, not 3D Mark. Yeah, PC Mark 05 League says. Yeah, there was like this whole thing about how in the transparent windows test, like some people said you want to like go crazy with the mouse and like just move it as fast as possible all over the place, and other people said no, you want to like stick the mouse up in the top left hand corner. Yeah. I'm not sorry that that bench got booted. I mean, it's cool. I think it's kind of cool when you've got a bench that's like that tweakable in a way, but also it's just no good, you know. Like if you can't like look at a score and go, well, you know, is this legit? League says the community killed it. Yeah, yeah, that is kind of the problem, isn't it? It's like you have a line between what's a tweak and what's a cheat, and unfortunately that's not a very clear line necessarily. You know, if I set 800 by 600, for example, and if that actually helps, if that gives me a score boost, is that a tweak or a cheat? You know, there's some benchmarks where you have things that are completely legitimate in terms of the intent of the benchmark, but they give a massive score boost. Like there are a lot of people who are really unhappy about the fact that GPU Pi on socket FM1 scored way better just using the stock BIOSes that some board came with, and it's because the system was genuinely running faster. But you have as well things that are pretty unambiguous, and yeah, sadly some people will do anything for a score, and Sean says, what if you have a lower res monitor? Yeah, that's a funny one. Yeah, I'm not sure. The way that later 3D marks work, I think, is like... I think it's something like they render at whatever resolution, but then they rescale it to the monitor size, something like that. So if you have a lower output resolution, then the scaling would get easier. I suspect that might be it, because like it's not like it makes a big like even in Ice Storm, where that's like a big deal as a tweak, it doesn't make a big difference. It doesn't. It's not as if it's really genuinely rendering at a different resolution. So yeah, I don't know. Oh. Okay, so 100.5 isn't happy either then. Yeah, that's not happy. Yeah, what's so frustrating is that you can sometimes have a benchmark where there are loads of like genuinely really interesting tweaks. But they're indistinguishable from cheats, like, because the effect on the score is the same, and then that's a real problem. So League says try 1850 GPU memory problem. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's give that a go. I think that was a GPU crash, if I'm honest. But there's no harm in trying. Maybe a tad more volt to the iGPU. Yeah, it's only at 1.3, so I don't think I'd mind giving it a little bit more. I'll see what it's actually running at in the next test. Enjoy your food, Alex. Actually, one sec, what's the phase doing? The phase is at minus 39.3. So I might be able to just give that a minute and... do I want to wait around for it to cool down? Do I want to just run? I think I want to just run. It's like 0.7 of a degree, that's not going to do anything. Let's just run. So if this is iGPU, it will crash very, very soon. Intel iGPU is weird because before you put 3D load on it, it just runs at like 300 megahertz or 600 or something. Really low anyway. So like you can boot in at whatever clock, and remember to leave the CPU tests enabled. And it will just, it will boot up, and then the moment you start a benchmark, it's just like, it tries to turbo up to the clock that you've set, and then it immediately crashes. Okay. Well, it's running. Maybe it was mem. I mean, yeah, given that I had the mem really dialed in, it would make sense if the mem can't take more clocks. That would be entirely reasonable. Okay. I guess VAXG, that's going to be the iGPU, isn't it? Okay, so that's actually running at 1.34 volts right now. And also apparently I have the probes the wrong way around, but that doesn't actually matter. Well, does it? I'll measure again with them the correct way around. Yeah, 1.34. Whereas I have 1.3 set. What's vCore doing? So vCore's only 0.2, or 0.16 above what I set. 0.016 rather, above what I set, whereas iGPU is 0.04 above what I set. So that's interesting. You know, I might as well leave the multimeter in shot if I can. Is it? That's not in shot. Okay. It's not doing anything right now, but anyway, the higher iGPU clock is running, so that's a good sign. Passed the first test. League says, I think Canyon Flight is the hardest. We always pre-tested with that one. Yeah, that would make sense. I think I saw an artifact there. Just for a moment. Okay. Well, hasn't artifacted again yet. Canyon Flight is really, really pretty, to be fair, as well. I really like it. Other than, like, that guy's face, like, when this Leviathan thing is, like, chasing his airship, and he just turns rounds with this, like, He turns round with this, like, really unimpressed expression. Just this sort of, yes. It's such a weird face to make in that situation. I mean, I guess it does make sense on some level, because he knows that he knows he's got rockets, and the rockets let him run away. League says, I prefer Jane Nash in Vantage. Yeah. Oh, goodness me. One of the emotes on the UK Overclocking Discord is bold Jane Nash, from it being run like with LOD, which I've never figured out LOD on Vantage. But yeah. There's some other interesting effects from running it with LOD, to my understanding. Look at his face. Look at that face. Honestly. Well, this is looking really good. I mean, yeah, touch wood, but like we're just about there now, and there was like one flicker of an artifact in Firefly Forest, and that was it. Yeah, okay. Gonna go into the CPU test. Need to remember to quit out of that. There we go. But yeah, good call, League. Benchmark aborted, and there's our score. Good grief. It's nearly 27k. 26991. Like, it was like 26.5 last time, right? I feel like I want to check. Yeah. Oh boy. Alright, I'll swap to stream only, OS only rather, for a minute. Just so I can have all of the details visible while I set this up. But yeah, I mean, good call with just pushing the iGPU, because that worked. Come on. Oh, that didn't quite reach full clocks. Let's do that once more. There we go. What else do I need? I need mainboard, and I think, if I remember rightly, motherboard is required, but SPUD isn't. Beermat says, not sure, but I think running high priority scored more for me too. That would make sense. I might try just a rerun. CPU, memory, motherboard, GPU, GPU Z sensors, 1850. Yep, that's everything. And the score is 26991. All right. Well, time for a title update, and let's see if we can hit 27K. Oh my goodness. I think that's the title updated. Oh wow. Yeah, to my understanding, in terms of priority, I think it just spawns a new task. You know, let's try 800 by 600. Let's give that a go. Justice League says try the resolution, please. Well, your wish is my command. So, do I have a way of, like, telling what the capture card thinks it's getting? We stopped at 227 first test. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. 127. Oh, I see. Right, yeah. The end frames for the first test, 127. Okay. Before it hides. So that's just as they're running into the corridor, right? You should bench with old Scarface. Who is old Scarface? Are they British? He remembers 3 to 4 spots per stage. That's... yeah, that's impressive. I'm not very good at that kind of thing. I saw 132. Okay, well that's a good sign. Dutch guy, yeah. I've done a couple of bench meet type things recently. Well, not recently. Goodness me, not recently. I've benched with Lawrence a couple of times, jumper 118. He's chill. Lawrence is a really nice guy. And then is that... oh, that's not a good sign. Is that fully crashed? Damn. That's interesting. Is it warmer? Is that why? Well, I suppose I ought to reset it. More volts, maybe. I didn't change any of the settings. It was running, you know, lower desktop res and nothing else. I want to try it without adding volts and see how the score does, because adding volts, I mean, rebooting might affect the score as well, to be fair. But I'm worried that if I add volts, it might affect how it scores. Yeah, the other guy I've checked the previous score details first. Does it save them? Oh, you mean that? I see. Yeah. Yeah, good shout. So 26991 and those are our FPS numbers. Frames are always a bit higher than the published score. I'm just thinking, Elmore's 3Dmark calculator, is that going to give me the number of frames? I bet it will. 123.9. Yeah, it will. 84.4. 120.3. Give me one moment and I'll actually make some text come up on the screen. 9023. So total frame count might be one way of telling, is what I'm thinking. So if I add a text source, that's probably okay, isn't it? Alright. And that has given us time to cool down to minus 39.2, so hopefully that'll help. Oh, I really should have moved the window to the bottom. Oh, whatever, it's probably going to reset with a resolution change anyway. If one subtest is crap, abort. Yeah, fair enough. And Sean says that's how a lot of guys do it on Port Royal. Alright. I've never actually benched Port Royal ever. I guess I used to have an RX 6800. That is compatible, I think. But the thing is, I paid launch price for it, and then Kex started offering £1,000 for them. And that's selling to Kex, like selling to a store rather than eBay, so there's no risk that you're going to get screwed over. So yeah, I went for that, I'll be honest. You know, I'm not proud, but it was also like 500 quid profit, so yeah. Alright, so we're going to be looking for our final frame count, and we're at 12,762 for the personal best. And this will give a bit of an idea of how much difference changing resolution makes, because that's the only difference. Other than a reboot, which is... a reboot might well have made a difference, just anyway. I definitely saw some variability. So we're at 11,800, 900, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looked like 12,620 something. Yeah. It's not looking great. I do kind of want to let it finish just to get an idea of exactly what it does. But it's not looking great for changing resolution. Or maybe it's just this boot. Maybe this boot just isn't as good. That's the problem. But yeah, I wish there was a way of telling what resolution the capture card thinks it's getting. But if there is, it's not immediately obvious to me. Because that would be really interesting to see what it's actually rendering at, or what it's outputting at rather. Would not surprise me if it's outputting at 1024 by 768. I completely forgot to see what the frames were for that test. I am not good at this. Oh, one test to go. If I run out of room on this, I might try swapping to PSC, load up my profile with PSC, see how that goes. I think that would be a sensible thing to do. I do have DDI as well, but I haven't really done a whole lot with it, so if I swap to DDI, like, I'm starting from zero. I don't even know what the binning is. Whereas, actually, that's a thought. Where is my tray of good PSC? I know the PSC profile that I have, I made on Meh PSC. Okay. Well, I found my tray of bad PSC, which is not useful at all. Is it within reach without having to undo the mic? Found my tray of Elpida. Oh, CPU test. Yeah. Good shout. Okay. Pop the memory trays down. Let's see where we've ended up. Is this not the optimal resolution, really? 26928. Is that? I think that's a hair lower, isn't it? What was it? Yeah, that's 60 points lower. Okay, that's interesting. Check the subtests. Move window. Is that visible? That's visible. Alright, so GT1 was lower, 2 and 3 were actually slightly higher. But that, I feel like that's just within random variance. Okay. Well, I'm going to rerun that now without a reboot at the higher resolution. I'll be honest, it would not surprise me if it just crashes. Because maybe I'm jinxing it by saying that, but I feel like that's what this system would do. It seems to be... the last boot is not the first time that I've had it less stable on the second run. That seems to be a consistent thing. I think I've found... Yeah, I think that's my tray of good PSC down there. Good, good, good. Does it run better with HT on? No, I don't think so. I mean, in theory it shouldn't, but also I think... I don't know if I did a full apples to apples test, but I'm pretty certain that disabling HT helped. I can't remember if I only changed HT. I think I changed other things at the same time. But I don't see why it would, because it's a single threaded benchmark, and I mean, I guess you've got the driver as well, but you know, 4 cores has got to be plenty. I mean, it's 05. So I really can't see HT helping, if I'm completely honest. Right. Dan Kopp once mentioned it runs better on Core 3. Was that way lower? 124, okay. I'll try and keep my eyes peeled for this one, I guess. If this run scores way lower than the last run did, then it might be that the resolution thing does work and this is just not as good of a boot. Okay, hopefully it finishes this test then. So it might actually be worth giving it another go at reduced resolution. Of course. It never likes the second run. It's just not stable. It's never stable for the second run. You know, maybe that does call for more voltage. This board is so fast to post. Because, like, if it's not stable for the second run, maybe that's because it's working harder. Maybe, like, I don't know, it's... the branch predictor's dialed itself in better or something, I don't know. Let's try 1.33. League says 1.35. I'll get there, we'll see. I'm being a chicken. Right. I also need to pull up my PSC spreadsheet. Actually figure out which sticks I ought to run if I decide to switch to PSC. But one thing at a time. Well, that's interesting. The icon changes colour when it's selected. Oh no, there's a rotation option. I could try rotating it. Portrait mode is the kind of thing that would help, isn't it? Alright. Maybe it's happier, this boot. Right, what have I actually been for TRCD12? Why is it all of my PSC sticks that are strong on TRCD are just like random sticks? Ah. What idiot making this binning spreadsheet wrote down the PCB of a kit as just Corsair XMS3? No, it was me, wasn't it? Bah. Oh, for God's sake. And I completely forgot to pay attention to the frames because I was busy trying to make head or tail of my spreadsheet to figure out what PSC sticks to try and run. Damn. Oh well. $124-ish again, let it complete, says League. Yeah, fair enough. I might just try running my Dominator GT sticks. Like 4 of them. And I do have 4. I've got some blue Dominators. They're really old, which is a good sign. But the actual the rated settings suck. But yeah, those. They do 2600 C8, so they don't completely suck. I have like 4 of them. It might be fun to run. Fun is a valid reason to do things. And then at least they're all the same PCB. Some of my best G skill is on B63, and it's really annoying. Part of the problem is I don't have any proper PSC bins, to be fair. Okay, well, we're about at completion, so wait for the CPU test to start, and kill it. Benchmark aborted. Ooh! 26,748, that's a big drop. That's really low. Resolution, full res. Alright, so what happened that time in terms of subtests? Let's see. So, yeah, worse on GT1 and then basically within random variants on 2 and 3, I think. Okay. You know what? Oh no, this is horrible. Let's try that. I regret this already, but... Oh! Well, that's new. Oh, where's... This is really difficult. If I just hit run again, will that work this time? Huh. I don't know whether I want this to work or not, because I sort of feel as though, like, on the one hand, if it doesn't work, then I'll have been through, you know, trying to make this work and, like, having no end of problems guiding the mouse for nothing. But I feel like if it does work, then that means I have to keep running this way, and that's got to be worse. I'm hoping it just refuses to run. That would provide a very straightforward solution. Damn, it's running. Oh, you can't see the that's no good. There, now you can see the frame count perfectly with no problems whatsoever. This might actually be affecting how it's rendering. So it might make a real genuine difference. Or it might not. League says way slower halfway. Yeah. Also, thank you for the follow, Yee. Only 7 away now. Hooray! $55 versus 67. Goodness me. Okay, we're getting towards the end, I think. 9, 9, 10, 10, 1, 2. That was awful. Yeah, that was like 10,200-ish. Yeah, that's horrific. Also, it crashed, and that's bad as well. That's also a problem. All right. Well, that's good, I guess. Rotate more. No. No, that's enough rotation. Oh Lord. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, what was the shortcut? Control Alt Up. Thank goodness. Alex asks, how's the last 30 minutes or so been? Well, I just tried rotating the screen as a tweak, so could be better. The good news is it doesn't work. It actually makes the score a lot worse. So that's nice, I guess. It's better than the alternative. I kind of want to give it just one clean run. I have this nagging try native 1024 by 768. That would make sense. As proposed by ... Beer Matt says, yeah, I do native and drop color depth. Oh no. Yeah, I can see how that would help. $27K or no go to bed, says Lee Koof. Yeah, that's fair enough. Like I'm so close to 27K, I can't like not get 27K. That would be awful. Also high priority. Is that like just setting high priority for the launcher though? Like it doesn't make sense. Surely the actual benchmark tests are a separate task, aren't they? Or are maybe they're not. I guess there's process lasso. $68 now. That's a good sign then. Okay. This does actually give me something to do while it runs. Pay attention to the frames. So we're coming up towards the end now. 11, 8, 9, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I saw more than 12.8. That's a good sign. This is going to score better. Or at least the first test is scoring better. Okay. Yeah, based on first test, I'd say you're at 27K. Yeah, it's looking promising. So League's saying that GT2 has seen 5182 at times. So we'll see what this does. I want to try PSC as well as all the tweaking, because I do think it has potential. Oh, okay, we're getting towards the end. 4, 9, 5, 5, 1, 517 something. I saw 517 something. That's better than the PB. Yeah, this is going to be a 27K run, isn't it? Oh, I mean, good call. Just gonna reach over and put my OCZs back in the tray while that's still running. Don't think I'm going to use those. I think I'll either use the Corsairs or I might use my B63G skills when I switch to PSC. They have a whole load of mushkins as well. I don't know. Alright. 9023 is the last best. We're at 87, 88, 89, 90. That was 907 something at least. That's got to be a PB, like by a long way. Yeah, good call about native res. That's 27k, you're right. There it is. Boom indeed. Okay. Switch to OS only. Just while I'm saving the screenshot, I want to just like, I want people to know if I've screwed up so that people can yell at me. Okay, that's absolute CPU, mem, motherboard, SPD, both GPU Z, score, subtests. Yeah, that's everything. That's 27017. Alright, and I'm very happy with that as a screenshot. Whew. Excellent, good. Well, I need to figure out the frames in that so that I can update the thing. So, what have we got? We've got 124.3. We have 84.2. And we have 120.5. So let me copy those into a text document and then... Oh, apparently GT2 was actually a hair lower. Alright. Well, you get variants, I suppose. How do I edit the text thing? Yeah, yes. Okay, good. That's easy. Done. Right. Colour depth. Oh, is that possible on Windows 7? It might be possible, but not straightforward. I clicked at advanced settings and now it's not doing anything. That's concerning. Well, that's unhappy. Well, 3Dmark is still happy. Screen resolution. Oh, here we are, okay. There we are. Okay. I don't know why I just clicked to reopen. Well, I know why I clicked to reopen advanced settings. It's because I want to double check that the colour depth hasn't reset itself. However, it's now going to take another moment. I don't know. Yeah, make sure it's still 16-bit exactly. Okay, here we are. Monitor. Good call. Yep. Good, glad I did that. It's interesting that it shows the display as the capture card. It makes sense. Alright. So, most likely this is going to fail anyway. Because it's the second run of the boot. And without wishing to, you know, jinx it or anything, the second run of the boot always seems to fail. Clean boot might be useful. Yeah. Yeah, if it passes but it doesn't score well... Oh, I need to do a title update. But yeah, you're right. If it passes but it doesn't score well, then... it was 27017, wasn't it? I keep cutting myself off. What I was going to say is if it passes but it doesn't score well, then I'll take that as meaning it needs a clean boot. So I guess we can tell to some extent by the first test now. See how that goes as it gets towards the end. So still a little way off right now. We're at 86, 87. Thunk. GT1 seems slower, says League. Okay, that's interesting. I'll see if I see 12.7, 12.8 at the end. If I don't even see 12.7, then it's definitely slower. 11.6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 12.4. Yeah, you're right, that's way slower. I'll sod that then. Alright. Well, it looks like it's still low colour depth. Because these icons look crap. So I think we're probably good to just jump back in. So I'm kind of thinking based on that maybe the second run of a boot is just going to be worse anyway. Why do I'm so used to going to disable the CPU tests. Alright, and it's getting late now. It's about 9:15, and that means I can open the windows because there are no children playing outside anymore. So just as that test starts, I'm going to open the windows up. Not wide open, but just enough that there's a little bit of a draft, just so it doesn't get too hot in here. Keep the system cool, you know. Alright. So, what else do I need to look at other than this? I guess it might be worth opening up the Intel control panel, seeing if there's like a performance option there. Assuming that's not going to fuck with the render in a way that would be a problem. While that runs, let me pull up the... Yeah, I mean, it's... The rules don't say you can't. League says 126 probably. I can see how it's much more efficient benching to actually know when to notice the FPS. I'm no good at that, and it probably would be a skill worth developing. Anyway, we're getting towards the end, so this is the bit I can do. So we're at 11, 9, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 12, 4. That still sucks. Okay. I'm willing to say that that sucks, if I'm honest. I think that the colour depth is making it worse, not better. Yeah, so that was 120.6 FPS overall. What was the PB? PB now is 124, so yeah, that's a big difference. Okay. So reduced colour depth makes it worse, not better, for 3Dmark05. I guess, are there older 3D Marks that actually run at 16-bit? Maybe it would affect them differently. Anyway, go and get a cup of coffee while the advanced settings open, and then we can set the colour depth back up. And I guess have a poke around in the Intel control panel. So set that back to true colour. Okay. So there's a general settings thing that let me oh, I certainly affinity check then to core 3 in high priority. Yeah, you're right. That's the next thing, isn't it? And then there is, I'm not sure which of these is legal, so if anyone has feedback on that, I'd be interested to hear it. But yes, for now, Leek says, have fun lads, enjoy. Are you off then? I suppose it's got to be, what, 10:30 over there? Need to do work on XTU too. Well, have fun with that. Good luck. Yeah, that's the big one, isn't it? It would be nice to have it back just because it gets people on hardware bots. So, yeah. Yeah, good luck. Okay. Let's try priority first. For what it's worth, Twitch always saves the VODs, You know, whether you'd actually want to go back and look for it. I don't know, but it's probably a bit easier skipping through a VOD. Okay. I'd be really surprised if this helps, but like, you know, open mind, right? About halfway through the first test. Oh, I forgot to... There. Now we have our frame count back. 05 or 03, it definitely helps one of them. Fair enough. Well, let's hope it's 05. It'd be kind of cursed if it's 03. I mean, just because 03 is involved, that's what would make it cursed. God, I really don't like 3Dmark05. It's just... I don't mind, you know, a benchmark that crashes, but when it when you have to watch it like a hawk just in case it gives you a bugged score, that's frustrating. Okay, we're getting up towards the end now, so we're at 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I saw 12.8, and I think I saw it for more than 3 frames. I think priorities probably helped here. I don't know how much, but it seems like it's helped. Alright, if this is another PB, I'll save that and then go for another reboot, and then we can try priority and affinity. And then we can try the control panel options as well. I completely blanked there. I completely forgot to check what it was doing at the end of the test. Whoops. 2 hours in. Now theoretically the schedule is for this to be a 2-hour stream, and we're at 1:58 now. But I still have things to test. I can potentially try more iGPU clock. I've still got affinity, I've still got the control panel. So, and I haven't even, I mean, there's PSC is a whole other kettle of fish, right? Oh, while I remember, I should quickly plug the fact that I do have a Discord for these streams. So you can join the Discord if you want to talk about the streams and if you want to get pinged when I go live through Discord. Although I do actually have a schedule now, so you don't really need to get pinged. But if it sounds like something that would be useful to you, feel free to join. I don't really mind. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. So that's worse. What happened there? So it looks like Canyon Flight came out slightly lower. Firefly Forest came... Oh! Okay, actually even Proxicon... What? White Shark says you're going to keep posting in the HardwareBot Discord though. Yep, the only difference is in my Discord I tag everyone when I go live, whereas in the HardwareBot Discord I just post it in the channel. So, yeah. Did I forget to update my frames, or? No, the frames I've got on stream are up to date for my latest PB. Okay. Well, one way or another, that clearly scored worse. Not by much, but it did score worse. Okay. I'm willing to call that random variance, to be honest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reboot, give it a clean boot, and I'll only set. Should I set priority? Should I not set priority? I'll not set priority, but I'll set affinity to Core 3 because that I can believe. Because affinity to Core 3 is like, okay, maybe it's like you're getting the launcher out of the way. Whereas priority is like, well, surely you're setting the priority of the launcher. Like, if I had process lasso set up, that would be different. But I don't. So now is Core 3 CPU 3 or is that... Let's try CPU 3 first. Or for now, let's go with that. And I'll do my best not to blank and to actually see what frames I'm getting at the end of this. It's possible that Elmore's calculator is a little bit off or something, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see if there's a noticeable difference. Alex says, got an answer from a Rampage 4 Black Edition seller. He says the board randomly blue screens with an error code that contains 41 in some way. Apparently this is related to the VRM. Do you have any knowledge about this? I can see it being like a CPU related crash. I'm not aware of VRMs causing blue screens other than like if they're not supplying like clean enough power and it makes the CPU crash. Like if the VRM was like overheating or something, I would expect it would just shut the entire system down. It shouldn't cause a blue screen. So my best guess is CPU instability of some kind. Oh shit, that was like 11k frames. That was awful. That was genuinely awful. Let's not. Okay, priority to the last core is a wash. That was terrible. Like, to the point that I nearly missed it because I was like watching the frame count for when I had to start counting. Okay. Let's give CPU 02, which is Core 3, a chance as well. Because let's be honest, if it's that quick, then we'll find out pretty quickly that it's no good, and then we can move on. So this will be nice and simple, nice and straightforward. Alright, let's go for that run. Yeah, I guess the highest FPS as they're on like the landing craft is a point that you could pay attention to, so it was 165 that time. I guess that's like fairly clearly demarcated because it's like, okay, it's the highest that it hits. Alright. We're halfway through. I'm really glad that League suggested watching the FPS, to be honest. Because, too slow, you say? 68 at 50 seconds. Oh, doing it by the time. Oh, 68 at 50 seconds is good, this is 52. Goodness gracious. Alright, let me see what it is at the end, but yeah, we might be killing this run. But yeah, it's nice to have something to pay attention to, because it's like, you know, I can actually watch what the run is doing rather than, you know, it just being like 5 minutes of nothing. So we're at 11, 11.1 to, and that's 11.2K rather than being 12.8K. So yeah, you're right, that was crap. Okay. Well, now we know. So, yeah, having affinity set to just one core, doesn't matter which core it is, it makes it worse. Alright. On a whim, Dan Cop sucks. Yeah, I think that's the main problem. He's just not a good overclocker. That's the issue. I jest, of course. Maybe setting it to 3 of the 4 cores or something. Maybe that would work. I don't know. Why am I in memory timings? I'm so used to going to memory timings. I want to try 1900 because I'm running higher iGPU voltage anyway. So might as well try 1900. And if that works, then I know iGPU clock works. Sean asks, did you do anything with MaxMem on this OS? Nope. As far as I'm aware, GDI doesn't need MaxMem. So, I mean, maybe it... yeah, I don't know. I'm not aware of GDI needing MaxMem. It certainly hasn't been behaving like it has a problem with voltage. It's at like, what is it at? Let's where is our VDIM? So we're at 1.96 volts on the memory, and it's fine, so I don't think it needs max mem. I don't know if it would affect anything else. I have only heard of max mem affecting memory stability. I know it's not just BDI that needs it. It might help, or it might help with you know, just keeping tighter timing. Oh, hello. That crashed pretty spectacularly and pretty early. Alright. Well, I'll give it a little bit more iGPU voltage. I'll give it 1.35. But I don't want to go over that before I've tried PSC. You know, maybe I'm being wimpy, but I only have one 4790K, and it seems to be all right. Like, not golden, but it's all right. So, yeah, I don't want to hurt it. I think I only ran like 2000 iGPU clock when I was actually on liquid nitrogen. And that was like not only I mean, the Aussies got a score that was a hair higher, but they screwed up their screenshot. And then it was like 2000 points. This was in 01, so it was like 10% higher than everybody else. I'm not entirely sure how that happens, but yeah. Alex says, trying to get info from the Rampage 4 seller. We'll update you. Until then, good night. Night, man. And yeah, feel free to post it in general in the Discord, I guess. Or I'll probably end up talking to you about it on BuildZoid's Discord. Alright, well, 1900 still isn't happy. If anything, that it certainly didn't seem any more stable. So I'm going to back off on iGPU clock and voltage. And we'll try Intel control panel next. Yeah, start Windows normally. Alright. So come on. How am I doing in terms of phase temp? Minus 39.1. It's looking pretty good, I'd say. Okay. So let's change general settings to performance. And we'll see how that affects it. Although I've got a good feeling about it. I don't see why it would do anything other than help. And I already have 27K as well. I think, what was the... Yeah, the message I sent out for the Twitch notification was time to take the top spot for 3Dmark05 on 4790K iGPU. I hope. And I thought I was like maybe being a bit cocky there, but no, I've done it. We're past that. Oh, what happened there? Was that a reboot? That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. Right. That failed really early on as well. Okay. Have I screwed my settings up? What I think I'll do is I'll make sure that I've set things back to where they were in the control panel, and I'll do a run at those settings just to make sure it's still happy. So, yep, okay, that's on balanced mode rather than performance. No, leave CPU tests enabled, don't be silly. Okay, so we'll do a complete run, not as a performance test, but as a stability test. So that means even if the performance isn't good, I'm not going to kill it. And that gives me an excuse to go for a bio break at the 2 hour 15 mark, roughly. So I will be back with you in about 5 minutes. Alright, That was a fairly quick one. Good. So where are we? 46, 47, 48, 9, 50, 51. That was nearly 52. Okay. This run's looking good. So if this passes, what that means is that fiddling with the Intel control panel settings lost me stability. At that point, I don't know what else I can possibly do other than, well, I could try and push clocks. I could try push CPU core clock. I have a suspicion that pushing CPU core clock won't help. It might, but I don't think it will. Well, okay. It scales, but I think that the added heat might lose me clocks overall. I could try dropping core clock, dropping core voltage. That might give me more iGPU headroom. It's probably not the worst idea. That's definitely an option. So this test, I mean, we're basically at the end, but this was 9K, so we're at 8, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9K, yeah. Okay, this run's looking really good. Just need the CPU test to start. Benchmark aborted. Oh, what? Okay, apparently my first test sucked. White Shark asks, how's the cardboard deflector holding up? I mean, I won't really know until the end, but like it stayed in place. And I can feel airflow over the RAM. But I won't know until I'm tearing down whether I've got a great big lump of ice where my socket used to be. Right, I was going to just check against... have I got my FPSs open? I do. Okay, so the Canyon flight was actually a bit weaker. GT1 was a lot weaker. Alright. It's honestly, I think it's like just boot to boot variants, or the board may be training differently at this point. Alright, okay. So I could have sworn I said shut down that time. And yet, here we are. Right, let's kill it. Right. I want to give it like the full like power cycle, because I feel like that might affect things in some way. Although now I have to go through an entire rerun just to see if that actually helps my scores. Well. Alex, who is not in bed apparently, says, got more info at stock settings. The 3930K crashes on the Rampage 4 Black Edition, but the same chip when overclocked was stable on the P9X79. Okay. Yeah, so maybe the capacitors on the Rampage 4 are just like badly aged or something. That could be a problem. It's not stuck in 16-bit colour, is it? No, it doesn't look like it is. let's see if my scoring is back now that I've done a full power cycle. I clicked run and then the mouse kind of moved. Let's try that again. Okay, well it's definitely been clicked now. League asks, tried running it with the -systeminfo command. I have not. I'm guessing that disables systeminfo. So is that something that you'd put in the Windows shortcut? Okay, so the command is literally -no systeminfo. That's a weird one, but all right. Yeah, I guess I can give that a go. All right, we're getting into the tunnel now. 12k, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I saw 12.8. Not for long though. I'll let it run just to confirm that the performance is back. I always forget when Firefly Forest is finishing. Because, like, I don't know if it's... I think it maybe is kind of short. I don't know, it just feels like, oh, Firefly Forest is like, there's some pretty lights on the screen, whatever. I don't pay enough attention to it. Anyway, we're nearly there now. Alex is finally going to sleep. Alright, night man. Thanks, League. I got your message on Discord, so it's no system info, all one word then. Uh, 27011, so that's not quite a PB, but the performance is back. Well, it seems to start up happily enough with that command. I'm going to run it. It might crash because it's, you know, second run, so we'll see. I'll give it a go. I told myself this would be a short stream. It's not been a short stream. I mean, it's been, no, it has been a short stream, but it's not. I'm not looking as done as I was expecting it to be. Sean asks, did you tell us that, lol? Well, it says it on my schedule. My schedule has it down as 2 hours. And that's, to me, 2 hours is a short stream. But yeah, I really still want to test the PSC, and it's been 2.5 hours, but I don't want to stop. Sean says, hey, all good, you took the record. Yes, but I haven't tried PSC yet. Also, I really want to see if this board can do 2666 quad rank on good PSC. Alright. 11, 9, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was only 12.6. Okay, that's worse. Reboot time. Because it was the second run, of course that's going to be worse. Apparently. I can't see a no system info command actually making it score worse. That doesn't make sense at all. Oh, it makes it launch faster. Is it just that? It doesn't affect performance. I'm going to run it and see anyway. That does make it launch a lot faster though. So yeah, editing the shortcut and putting -no system info, all one word, that seems to be a really good idea in terms of how fast the benchmark launches. And I guess we'll find out if it has an effect on performance. I'm expecting it not to. Either way, I don't see why it would, but okay, here's one thing I don't get about this battle, right? All of these people are like getting blasted, like they're getting killed. And it takes this motherfucker with the Gatling gun that long to step out and be like, yeah, okay, I'll take them all out for you. I mean, could they not have just done it a bit sooner? Would that not have helped? And like, maybe all of their mates wouldn't have to like get shot and killed? But does that not seem like a better strategy? Like, you've got this one person like with heavy armor and a Gatling gun, who apparently is like impervious to their attacks, despite being very slow. And yet they're sending other people in front? Okay, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, that was only 12.7. White Shark says had to charge the battery first. Yeah. Yeah, that was only 12.7, but I can't see it making it score worse. Surely not. But because that was only 12.7, it definitely hasn't made it score better. Should I just load it? Should I just switch to PSC now? I'll see how this goes. So 5136 is my best. So at 4, 7, 8, 9, 51. That looks good. I saw 5170 something. Okay, we'll let this run finish. How are Gatling guns powered? Is it actually like a battery? Because I guess something has to spin them. Like, I assume it's not the force of the... Just a random thought. Engine power, like an internal combustion engine? Sean says gas charge from the previous round. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense, and like, yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of rifles. 26975. I suspect that was the first test screwing us over there. Okay. I think it's PSC time. Switch to... where's our camera? There it is. Right, let's lift out this tray of RAM. Alright, chat. Corsair or G-Skill? I'm leaning towards G-Skill. I've got a fairly extensive... This is not all of... Like, I would call this my good PSC, but it's only good in the sense that, like, it doesn't completely suck. Well, that's all you actually need, most of the time. I think... Were my best sticks the ones on B63, or... you know what, I'm going to go with Corsair. If I go with the Corsair sticks, then I don't have to worry about which ones are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones. So it's those two. And those. These slots are really tight. just going to leave the G die in my PSC tray. I'm going to hate myself for that if I forget that I did it. Right. You know what would be really funny? Is if the PSC just boots up the G-die settings. It's not beyond the realm of possibility, but it would be a real kick in the teeth. I know I have somewhat gone from like super tuned mem to like not that. So it will be interesting to see how this goes. But hopefully it should be alright. Okay. Let's fire her up. It's going to kick me into BIOS, right? It's not going to try and boot through to the OS like that. Like one way or another, it's going to kick me into BIOS. Sorry, I'm just going to pop the mic down there. Good thing I did put the mic out of the way. That was loud. Okay. Click the mic back on. Okay, well it's definitely not booting right up with the PSC settings. With the G-die settings rather. Presumably it's going to recover at some point. This board tends to be alright at recovery. Can I give the camera a slightly better angle? I feel like if it's looking down a little bit more, you might have a better view of the postcode. There is a safe boot button, but it's annoying. Oh! Okay, we're in OS. Right, that's unexpected. Are we in OS at default, or are we in OS at 2933 CL10? Okay, it's default. I'm going to say good. Because I don't know how I would have reacted if it was in OS at 2933 CL10. That would have been a bit silly. Right. So let's load a PSC profile. So this PSC profile, I might need to double check the IMC voltages. Well, it's set up for a G3258 is the thing. So it's 2400. I'm just going to loosen out TRCD and TRAS just in case. Just because I don't want any trouble. But yeah, this was dialed in on like some really late G-Skill PSC. The PSC that I've got in the system ought to be better. Okay, those are only at plus 0.1. Alright. That's... Let's just do Haswell memory voltages for now. And frequency, so CPU 5 gigahertz, Uncore 4 gigahertz, iGPU was at 1850 with 1.33 volts. Is it still at that? Yep, okay, let's go with that. And hope that it works. Because if this doesn't just work, then I'm gonna have a bit of a pain in the ass on my hands. So the board was doing its thing where it just stays stuck on AB rather than booting, so that's fine. Reset through that. See what it does next. I see B6. That's a good sign. I think it's booting up all right. It would be so fucking funny if, like, this just scores 28k. Assuming it does actually boot. I see A0. That normally means it's booting. Just have to give it a minute. I should probably do a quick title update, shouldn't I? Just to reflect that I'm using PSC now. Update. Is that still not... Okay. I'm going to hit reset and see what that does. Once or twice I encountered an issue where it just wouldn't send video out. So maybe all it needs is a reset. Or maybe what it needs is a rethink when it comes to the voltages. I don't know. It's stuck on AE now. Fine, I'll reset it again. Come on, please. Please work. Please actually boot. You're not telling me my 2600 C8 sticks can't do what my 2400 sticks could. You know, I think this is kind of my mistake. What I've done is I've taken a profile that was set up on sticks with a brainpower PCB and I'm applying it to a Corsair PCB. So that in itself could be a problem. Why? I'm getting like hard drive activity lights, I'm getting A0. Is this BIOS profile just weird? I'm going to hit the safe boot button and then hit the reset button. Maybe there's some like other setting in the BIOS that I forgot to touch. Okay. Clear CMOS. Come on. I do actually want to find out if this works. So that does mean that I need to be, you know, in BIOS. It's showing AB, but I'm not seeing anything on the screen. AB normally means it's in the BIOS. Right. Okay. Well, you know what? It's 20 minutes past 10. I've been going for longer than I planned. I don't like leaving it without testing PSC properly, but I have a feeling that this is going to be hours of troubleshooting, and given that I still need to tear down the system and dry it out and everything, I think I'm going to leave it. I'll leave it at, you know, I've got the gold by a good fucking margin, to be honest. Like, I'm further above the current #1 than the current #1 is above, like, the current #5. I'm happy with that. I am actually going to leave it here. I think because this is going to be such a pain to troubleshoot. I don't know why it's having a problem. And of course there's always that element of, like, you're having a problem. Oh, is it water in the socket? I don't know. Oh. You know, it's funny how threatening to end the stream makes the system start behaving itself. Alright. Well, let's do this. We're still going. Let's do this. Seat of the pants. Go through absolutely everything. Disable audio. Graphics enabled. Disable LAN. Like, maybe I did a silly. Maybe the PSC profile included... Oh, I bet it... You know what? Let's... There. Right there. See this? This is why it wasn't working. Because the PSC profile disabled the integrated graphics. Night League. I'll post about how I get on. So you'll find out if it turns out that PSC... well, do I want to post in hardware bot? I'll let you know how it goes. Let's go with that. Right. So it was booting up. That's why the postcode looked like it was booting up. It's just that someone had the bright idea of disabling the integrated graphics in the profile, which is a legitimately bright idea. Fair enough. Is hyperthreading disabled? Where's hyperthreading? Am I blind? Where's... Turbo boost, cores enabled. I mean, we can change that to... But that's not the issue. Where's the hyperthreading option? Okay, well, dial in iGPU. Is it in MISC? No. Why would it be there? Recall 1.4, ring 1, graphics 1.33. Let's leave those all at plus 0.1. Hey, Glenn, hello. 27K, yeah. I I'm happy. I've now moved on to PSC, so I want to see if the PSC does better than the GDI. If it does, that would be cool, like, I guess. 1.9, why not? And let's loosen out that TRCD just in case it's picky for now. Yeah. Hopefully that will actually boot up. Based on the performance scaling that I have seen, I am led to believe and led to expect, oh, it's looking a lot better, that because PSC is quite good on latency, and you know you get like a much lower TRP, for example, come on, what's it doing? I expect that the PSC is actually going to do a lot better. Which would be really funny. Like I did spend a not inconsiderable amount of time dialing in the GDI. Oh, Glenn, I don't know if you were here for this. So League taught me a really cool trick, which is you actually leave the CPU tests enabled, and then if you use escape to quit out of them, then you can open up the score by hitting options just here. And it gives you the score really quickly rather than having to wait for it to sort itself out. Alright. Here we go. Here we fucking go. So hopefully we can get an idea of how this is going to go pretty early on. Yeah, so the other trick that you'll notice, Glenn, is the resolution's off, right? I'm running at 1024 by 768. That works well. Dropping all the way to 800 by 600 doesn't. But the thing is, the benchmark does actually render at 1024 by 768, so I think running at the same resolution it renders at just means it doesn't have to do any scaling or something. Anyway, it seems to work well. So yeah, and League also has me paying attention to frame counts. So I've used the Elmore Labs 3Dmark calculator, which you can find at elmore.se/3dmark, which I will link in the chat momentarily. So using that, you can turn your FPS into a frame count. So then if you just pay attention to the frame count towards the end of the scene, I've put my personal best up in the top left hand corner. That's as much for my reference as anything else. So we're coming up to the end now. It's at 11.3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that was only 11.7. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Now, I'm going to let this run just because I actually want to compare the overall score. But that only looks like 11.7k frames. So I'm expecting this is actually going to score a whole lot worse, if anything. Now, maybe there's a bit of room for me to tweak. Maybe some of the pirate timings I haven't touched in the profile that I'm running. But that's really interesting. The other thing that I can do, of course, is actually push up the memory clock, because right now my memory is only clocked at 2400. Also, once it's finished, I'm going to double check that it is actually running full clocks, but I think it is. It's a 5 GHz core, 1850 GPU, and 4 GHz uncore, because uncore doesn't do anything. So yeah, just need to let this finish. Glenn says got a G3258 on the way to give this one a go. That's great, that's good news. What memory do you have? And what board actually, for that matter? Is it like, is it an ITX board, like a 1 DIMM per channel board of some kind, like an Impact or something? Or is it like a 4 DIMM board? Because honestly, I'm impressed by the T topology on this board. Like, it's done a good job with 4 sticks of G-die. So what I'm thinking is, G-die isn't that variable, but I have like 2 trays of it, so since you're on the team, if you've got a 4 DIMM board, I could just send up some G-die, 4x1 kit, and you could see about running similar settings to what I've run. I could even, I could send you screenshots or something of the profile, I guess. Oh, we're into the CPU test. Quit out of that. Alright, let's see how that scored then. Oof! That is a big, big oof. That is way slower. That's like 1,500 points lower. Now, to be fair, that is with a much lower memory clock. Okay, so the iGPU is clocking all the way up. We're getting the full 1850 there. Our CPU is at 5 GHz, and our memory is at 2400 CL8. Right. Well, that's interesting. So, that is a big difference in score. That's a really big difference. And this might just be betraying the fact that, like, the PSC is... I don't think this profile is as well tuned as the G-die profile that I was running. Huh. Okay, these timings at the bottom don't matter. So I guess I did dial in all of the pirate timings? Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, well what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen out TRAS and... This might not work, but I'm going to try and just push the clock up without changing anything else. Glenn says, had the Sabertooth for this one, but I think the BIOS is fried, so I grabbed a cheap MSI Z97 4 DIMM off eBay. Fair enough. I mean, G-die is pretty sort of light. It's pretty easy to run, I think. The nature of being a high clocking IC, there aren't many, you know, a high clocking IC that's difficult to run at high clocks is called a low clocking IC. Yeah. So, you've got the 2000 CL9 Tridents, 2400 DOMs, and Viper Extreme 2000s. Oh, nice. Yeah, Samsung D-die in dual rank is probably pretty good for this stage as well. But yeah, I could maybe send you some G-die to play with, depending on what results I get with the PSC. If I can get the PSC anywhere close, then whatever. I'm just going to push VDIM. I'm only at 1.9. I can go to 2. That's C0. This is always the problem with having a profile that's like really super duper dialed in. Oh, I see AB. That means it's gone through recovery again, I think. I think that's AB. I can see the B. Yeah. Yeah, when you have a profile that's super dialed in and then you try to change something about it, it just is not happy. So that has tried to kick me into the BIOS but failed? Okay, this time, come on. There we are. Alright. So what can what am I doing? 13. Let's try TRCD 13 just in case it's that. And if it's not that, I'll have to start loosening things. I guess the other thing I could try is cast write latency. Maybe it needs that to be 8. Because I am a scrub who bins PSC at cast write latency of 8. You know, as one shouldn't. You know, it's a lot easier, but that's the thing, isn't it? And even since I added to my bidding procedure, I didn't add cast write latency 6, which I probably should have. It's done the thing again, hasn't it? It's failed. Come on, give me the BIOS. Honestly, though, that initial result, like I am really surprised, to tell the truth. Come on. Give me the BIOS. I guess I wasn't expecting it to be that much slower. I was expecting it to be closer, but maybe for further tuning to not make a difference. But I was not expecting that kind of that was a big difference. So yeah, I'm really surprised by that. Come on. Why is it being like this about graphics output all of a sudden? Thank you. Oh. Getting my mic caught on a table. Okay. Try write latency 8, and then if that doesn't work either, try everything, I guess. Like just autoing things and loosening things. Oh, how's this doing? 5D. I have not seen 5D before. Alright. So... no, of course not. Let's throw the profile out the window in that case, and let's see, RRD's got to be fine, surely. WTP, oh, that might not be happy actually. If we're going from 2400 to 2600, that's 16 to 18 should be fine. RTP, let's loosen that a step. Commander 8, I'm leaving that as 1. If I have to go to 2T, I don't want to go to 2T. Let's leave the RTLs because they're relative. And auto out all of the pirate timings. Yeah, let's try that. I really don't want to have to go to 2T. Oh, this is looking good. This looks like it's booting. So it's booting, but it's playing silly buggers with the output again. Fuck's sake. You know, there's maybe a gentler way of putting it than just a sort of exasperated sounding fuck's sake, but that's about where I am. Okay. I'll be honest, even though it's not dialed in at a higher clock, if PSC at 2400 is scoring that badly, I don't think it's got much of a chance. I think the G-Die was probably going to be... It's probably better. It's probably going to be the thing that works well. So... I am actually finally going to leave it now, because I got a score on PSC and it was a terrible score. And we know that now. So, I'm not going to kill the stream though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some of the teardown on stream like I did last time. However, the actual overclocking part is over. So I'm just going to quickly plug the Discord in chat. You can join the Discord if you're not there already and you want to be pinged when I'm doing stuff. And yeah, kill the phase. And let's start on the teardown. Right. When I sort this out as a highlight on Twitch, what I should probably do is I should see about making two separate highlights, perhaps. So I could have one highlight for the actual overclocking, and then another one for the PSC, and then another one for the teardown. That makes sense. Come on. It's one. It's two. It's three. That's four. All right. So somewhere out of the way that I can put those, that's going to be safe to put them. Ooh, there's a question. Yeah, that'll do. Right. So I made a couple of modifications to my mount setup, other than the zip ties and the cardboard. What I did differently is I actually rotated the backplate the other way. And that meant that I could leave all of the mounting posts on, which is great. And yeah, there's zip ties as well. I just realised that I have flush cutters that are suitable for cutting these zip ties, but they are nowhere near me. One moment. Flush cutters, flush cutters, flush cutters, flush cutters. Flush cutters, flush cutters. There we are. Right then. That's one zip tie off. And start removing the outer layers of paper. There is a lot of paper to go at. There's a lot of inner layers as well. Right. Oh. So that bit of paper feels a little bit like damp or cold. And there's still a couple more layers, and there's another zip tie here as well. So, snip, there we go. The zip tie is noticeably cold. I'll say that. Is it damp? Oh, I see a little bit of water on it actually. Okay. I think it's time to unscrew and lift off the actual phase head. So we'll do that next. Eventually we'll find out how well this insulation strategy worked, because I have had this fan blowing straight at the socket the entire time, and obviously ideally that's not what you want to do. You know, airflow is the enemy when you're cold, because airflow creates condensation. This is why for those in the Discord, this is why I want shorter threaded rod. There are eBay sellers in the UK. Glenn says, what model is the phase? I don't know. I bought it off Matt. He might have a clearer idea. But I think it's a little devil of some sort. But yeah, there's eBay sellers that do threaded rod in 100mm length. So I just need to pick some of that up. It's interesting that the mount has like twisted itself right away as soon as I release it. But yeah, I like the phase. Like, it's not necessarily the highest performance unit, but it's good quality. Like, it's held up. Okay, that's 2 down, 2 to go. So the last stream, the last stream was obviously about 5 hours. This one is not. But last stream it was just like solid ice around the socket. This has been a much shorter stream, but... well, not much shorter. It's been shorter, it's only been about 3 hours, so... we'll see. If you had a 100mm rod, you'd be unmounted by now. The next stream that I do, I want to do a long stream on Saturday, but the thing that I was thinking of doing is just a Cinebench revisit, and that's not going to be long. But I guess I can do other benchmarks on the 5600G as well. I have some liquid metal now, so I was temperature limited last time I ran the 5600G. Now obviously the competition is ambient only, so I can't just slap a phase on it. Okay, that's looking good. So we've got a bit of frost, some of which is now on the memory slot. But just frost. There's no solid ice there, and then we've got a bit of frost up here around the edge of the socket. Let me zoom in on the socket a bit. That is not bad at all, is it? Look at that. That's held up well, I'd say. Looks like the mount was fine as well. Yeah, so the air deflector, I would say, worked well. Certainly as part of an insulation strategy, which is good. I'm not surprised, because I have done this kind of thing before and it's worked well before. But I am pleased. Right, I need to shift this around a little bit so that I can wedge the phase head over here. There we go. Yeah, bits of cardboard to deflect airflow, they work well. Oh, that's a good point, Glenn. Yeah, it's only the side closest to the fan that had the ice. It's all turned to water now anyway. Yeah, good point. I hadn't even thought of that. Right. Let's go with, this is a nice dry bit of towel, isn't it? Yeah. So, you can use that for the CPU, I guess. Come on. This is kind of awkward with the everything. There we go. Okay, that came out all right. Cool. Well, I think we're about getting to hairdryer time, and hairdryers are not brilliantly stream friendly. So thank you for watching. I'll leave you there. And yeah, hopefully I'll see some of you on Saturday. Bye for now.